Hello and welcome to the Living the Present Moment study group. Today is Wednesday, November the 29th, 2017. I'm your host today, Dr. Joel Ying. I'm a physician, educator, storyteller, and you can find me online at livingthepresentmoment.com. Today I'm excited to have another interview with question and answer, and today's topic is spiritual healing, and my guest today is David Karg. Hi, David. How are you?
Hello, Joel. Thank you. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to chat today. For everyone else out there, I met David a long while back. I think it's been a couple years now. I was a teaching assistant for a craniosacral therapy class that he was taking with a friend, and he started to tell me about the path he'd come on as far as spiritual healing, and craniosacral was just something along the way. And so I was excited about all the other things that he's done. I think part of the reason I wanted to talk to him today is because it's very inspiring anyone who decides to go out on another path. And he retired from a career as a rep in home furnishings, doing that for 20 years or so, and then came into a new career of a second career of searching, looking for his life's path and a spiritual path. So I think that's really exciting, and wanted to hear about him and his journey and all the things that he's been through. And just to throw out a few, I met him also in different energy healing modalities, like Healing for America, which is now National Federation of Spiritual Healers, which is directly out of England, and also esoteric healing and shamanic medicine, regression therapy, and other kinds of therapies that he's really explored. And he's a really active member of Unity Church, where he's been a past president of the board, and he facilitates a lot of work there. He lives here in Naples, Florida, where I am, and I'm excited that he shares space with me. I get to see him now and then. I guess, Dave, let's start with, since the topic is spiritual healing, if you could define that for us, how you define it.
Okay, well, we can do a formal definition, or I can do an explanation, but I really like to define spiritual healing is it's a holistic approach. It's about balancing of body, mind, and spirit, leading to a total balance of the body, its energy, and healing on all levels of body, mind, and spirit. So it's a very holistic approach, and it's a healing approach. And as part of this definition, I really need to discuss the difference between to cure and to heal. To really understand what spiritual healing, energy healing therapy, I'll use those terms interchangeably, but to really understand what that is, how that works, it's very helpful to understand the difference between to cure and to heal. So I like to use the example, someone has high blood pressure. They go to their doctor. The doctor might make some recommendations, but eventually most of the time the doctor says, oh, no problem. I have this little white pill. You take one of these pills every morning, and it'll lower your blood pressure. Now, that's what we call a cure. That is, what is the cure actually doing? It's reducing or eliminating symptoms. It's taking away the symptoms of the high blood pressure, lowering the diastolic and systolic pressure. So it's taking away something objectionable. So that's the cure, okay. But what is, in fact, the cause of the high blood pressure? You see, the cure doesn't address that. It doesn't address the cause. And let's say in this instance, the cause happens to be stress. And that stress is eventually showing up as high blood pressure. It's manifesting as high blood pressure. So in spiritual and energy healing therapy, we are addressing the cause of the illness. And we have to, when we think about this and talk about this, we have to understand that, okay, well, when we talk about healing, we're talking about on all levels of the person's being. And first of all, as you mentioned, I'm fairly active in unity, and we love the phrase, we're a spiritual being having a physical experience, because we are spiritual. In other words, we're an energy. We're an energy. That is our essence. That is our truth, is the energy of who we are, our spiritual energy, which, in fact, then manifests into the physical. But it's this spiritual energy. It's this energy body that we are, that we work with in spiritual healing. So we're working with the energy of a person. We're working with it on the essence of their spiritual nature, of their being. And we like to define in spiritual healing in the auric field, the field, the energy field of a person, of different bodies, like the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body. All these bodies, all this energy works in coordination with each other to affect what we call the etheric template, which is a couple inches around the body. If a person's a seer, they can see like a light blue. It's sort of a mesh. And that is the template that affects the physical. In other words, that really, whatever that template contains, whatever's in that template, what that template is doing is then affecting or manifesting on the physical level. It's manifesting us as the physical being we are. So in the case of, let's say, the high blood pressure, let's say it's due to stress, and during spiritual healing, and we can talk about the procedure, actually how it works, how we proceed to do it a little bit later, but what it's really doing is, let's say the spiritual energy decides that really knows that that block is on the emotional level, that there is a block on the emotional level that is in some way producing disharmony or disease in the etheric field. It's disrupting it. It's not in harmony. It's not holistic, which, of course, is the goal. So that not being in harmony, not being the wholeness that it really should be, is affecting the body in the physical way, and it's causing the blood pressure, the high blood pressure.
Yeah, I'm glad that you started off with some definitions, because we often use the same words but in different ways. When people say cure, often not quite sure exactly what they mean, and we have to nail it down. So I'm glad you're saying when you say cure, you mean treat the symptoms, because some people do think of treating the symptoms not being a cure. But I do see where most people think of cure as being curing something physical. So you're taking it to be something that's multidimensional, where we're healing on more than one level of body, mind, and spirit.
Yes, absolutely. And I like to, that reminds me, when you're talking about curing and healing, you can cure without healing, and you can heal without curing. Let me explain. So, I can cure your high blood pressure, like we just discussed. But I haven't healed your high blood pressure. In other words, I haven't addressed the cause. I've just cured the symptoms, okay? So that's curing without healing. What about healing without curing? So let's say someone is in the latter stages of a long illness. They're in the process of really getting ready for transition to move on. And we're doing energy, we're doing spiritual healing with that person. And we might have several sessions with them. But the person eventually does pass. They transition. Now, we have not cured them. That is, we have not taken those physical symptoms away, because they in fact passed. They made their transition. But does that mean we did not heal them on some level? Well, the example I always like to use is that that healing addresses all the bodies, as you just said, the mind, body, and spirit. And that energy healing, we're not always absolutely privy to what was going on, but in many cases, a energy healing during a situation like that allows that person to become balanced, more balanced in a spiritual, mental, and emotional way, so that their transition, their journey to the next plateau is much smoother, it's easier, and it's without as much stress and fear. So in fact, we can heal and not necessarily affect a cure at that point.
Mm-hmm.